Welcome everybody to an end of year special. So yeah, my Radiance Films got a half year bundle from them, well that lasted between June and December of 2023. It was a bit of a gamble as it cost £350. Purely a gamble because for two reasons. One, didn't know what I was going to be getting, and secondly, didn't know if I was even going to enjoy what I was getting. And yeah, that gamble didn't seem to initially pay off, as I believe the first film that I got from them was my least favourite out of the entire bundle, and it is Red Sun. So yeah, I just didn't get along with this at all. Not a bad film by any means. I certainly can see why some people will like it, and there are certainly themes behind it that are enjoyable, or you can at least get behind. But regardless, yeah, I just did not get along with this, so it didn't give me the highest of hopes that this was going to be a well worth venture. But not long after, we got the excellent The Hotspot. So yeah, a really good film this is. I believe this was a neo noir. But regardless, yeah, an excellent film. Easily one of my favourites out of this half year bundle. And yeah, highly recommended. Now, with all of these films that we're going to be looking at, look at my full film review to get my full thoughts on it. But yeah, then we swiftly moved on to another really rather good film, directed by Robert Altman, who I've enjoyed stuff from before, and that is Thieves Like Us, with a good cast of Keith Carradine and Shelley Duvall. And yeah, another really good film. Yeah, bank robbery set film for the most part, but also I believe it had some comedy elements to it. Again, I'm going off of memory, which isn't the best, but yeah, still know that I enjoyed this a lot. And then we had a kind of iffy bit with this film because some bits really rather worked, some bits didn't, and then there was also a lot of wonderment about why it never got a wide release, despite having a lot of good people behind it and being done by a big studio, and that is OC and Stig's 1980s comedy. Um, yeah, some elements don't work, that's for sure, but I did overall enjoy its more unique aspects to it, and I especially enjoyed its thematic weight behind it. Condemning the likes of neoliberalism and capitalism and the like, and yeah, I felt it did a really rather good job at that. But then there were other elements that weren't quite enjoyable. I felt like the lead characters weren't the wholly most likable people in the world. So yeah, had its good bits, had its bad bits, quite frankly. What had few in the way of bad bits was The Iron Prefect. Excellent Italian film. Really well of a good cast as well. Giuliano, Gemma, and Claudia Cardinali, who we will see in another film that came out later in the year. And yeah, really good direction on it. And yeah, just an excellent film overall. Again, worthwhile themes to it. Then we have A Moment of Romance. Really good film, to be honest. Wasn't expecting much from it, given it is a romantic film that is centered around a romance. Typically, I'm not a massive fan of those kind of films, but yeah, it really did rather well make for an enjoyable film. And yeah, Benny Chan does good work in terms of direction. The cast was really good, and yeah, it's again another one of my favourites from this half year bundle. Then we have one that I again was a little bit unsure about in some regards, but overall still enjoyed, and that is The Dead Mother. Got the Spanish language version though because I really like the artwork that's going for it. But yeah, a little bit in some parts, but on the whole, a really rather enjoyable film, and this surprisingly did quite well in terms of views as well. It seems that a lot of people were anticipating this release, which I can't say I was because I never heard of it before, but still a decent enough effort, even if it's not quite as remarkable as the previous two. Then we have a film that I was really looking forward to owning because I'd already seen it and I'm a big fan of the lead actor, and that is Scream and Scream Again, which, yeah, stars Vincent Price, but then you've also got Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing in it. Now, granted, those actors aren't in the film entirely. I'm pretty sure Peter Cushing only has a one scene role in this, but yeah, just to own another Vincent Price film was only ever gonna be a positive as far as I'm concerned. Massive fan of him. I'm pretty sure I own well over 20 films starring him now. So yeah, to get another one from him in my collection was always going to be a joy, and it is still a fairly decent film in its own right. Then we have a film that I really wasn't sure about because I figured it was just going to be going into exploitation area, and it didn't quite do that. It just went for a more straight atmospheric horror, and that is the horrible Dr. Hitchcock, which yeah, pretty good Italian film, early 60s, and yeah, on the whole, a fairly solid effort. Again, a lot of people seem to have been anticipating that. Then we have Visible Secret, comedy horror. Didn't find the comedy to work wholly well, but the horror element did, and yeah, it also has some really rather good characterization. Then we have a French film. I can't say the pronunciation, to be honest. I think it's called Fire and Ice in for real. Say for real, sorry, in English. But yeah, I'm rubbish at pronunciation, French or any other kind of foreign language, to be honest. But it's got a really good cast. It's well directed, and yeah, it was a overall engrossing film. So again, highly recommend that. And the last single disc effort that they released was Elegant Beast. Only just reviewed this, so yeah, I'm not gonna say too much about it, but it is a really really good film, and I do highly recommend seeing this if you haven't already. And then in terms of limited edition boxed single disc releases, we also had Messiah of Evil. Not quite as great as I was hoping it would be. The trailer made it look like this really rather out there kind of film, and although it does have out there moments, it wasn't quite as you know mad or weird as I hoped it might have been. But yeah, still a overall really rather good effort, and yeah, not quite sure why this is the one that got the box treatment though, because this is the only single disc boxed film that that Radiance Films did for 2023. So yeah, not quite sure why that one got the special treatment in that regard, but it's still a worthwhile film seeing. And then to top all of that off, we got four box sets, four fantastic box sets, quite frankly. There's one that's noticeably a little bit weaker than the other three, but yeah, it's still overall a fantastic series of box sets. Easily some of my favourite releases of 2023. That we'll look at for a top 10 physical releases of 2023 in the near future. But yeah, still, first of which was Cosa Nostra. So yeah, three films starring and directed by starring Franco Nero and directed by Damiano Damiani, and yeah, all really, really good films, to be honest. Really, really enjoyed all of them. And that's all of them on the back. So we have Day of the Owl, The Case is Closed, Forget It, and How to Kill a Judge. And yeah, really nicely put together box set. And yeah, highly recommend all three films, to be honest. And the first of which was Day of the Owl, which again stars Claudia Cardinale, who we've already talked about. And yeah, Franco Nero's really good. Lee J. Cobb's great as well. So yeah, really good cast in that. Then we have The Case is Closed, Forget It. A lot darker than the previous one. Yeah, certainly a lot more downbeat. But yeah, Franco Nero still once again puts in a solid performance. And then finally, How to Kill a Judge. So yeah, Franco Nero again, great. And yeah, well directed. And just generally an engrossing film. So all very good in that regard. And then obviously you got the booklet to go along with it, which is a mighty thick booklet as you can see. And yeah, just overall a really really solid release in terms of its physical aspects, the artwork, and yeah, the films themselves are also really really rather great. A little bit less great, but still really rather good in its own right is a comedy all'italiana, which yeah, I'm not a big fan of comedy in foreign language films, to be honest. I feel like some of the comedy does get lost in translation, and it doesn't quite translate properly well. But these are all three films by Dino Risi, and yeah, there was at least one film in here that was purely excellent. But yeah, the other two were a little bit less so. But the first of which is Il Vedovo. It's a decent effort. It's second best of the box set, but yeah, it has its issues as far as I'm concerned. And then Il Mattatore, my least favorite of the three, to be honest. Which, yeah, is a little bit of a shame. I don't like to rag on a film, but yeah, that was easily my least favorite of the three. And then finally, but not least, is Il Paso. Despite having the most annoying car horn in the universe, which is used way too much, it's still the best of the bunch. And yeah, especially in terms of its themes and its characterization. Not quite as much in terms of comedy, but yeah, definitely in terms of its themes and characterization, and especially with its ending. So yeah, that one was really rather great. And second to last, we had the excellently artworked The End of Civilization. So, like the previous two, all by the same director, Piotr Skulkin. And yeah, the artwork on this is the main selling point, quite frankly, in terms of presentation, because that is absolutely superb. I love that. It's still the one box set from this Radiance Films half year bundle that is still shown properly. And yeah, the three films themselves are also really rather good as well. So the first of which was War of the Worlds Next Century. So this is where the artwork comes from for the box. And yeah, excellent film. Then we have Ubi Ubar, The End of Civilization. So this is where it gets the title from for the box set. And yeah, again, a really good film. Highly recommend that one. And then finally, this is my least favorite of the three, again, because it's trying to go for comedy, and I don't think that wholly worked. But yeah, Gaga, Glory to the Heroes. Still a really good effort, and yeah, I love that artwork that it's got going for it on top of all of that. And then again, got a nice booklet. Not quite as thick as the previous one, in terms of the Cosa Nostra one, but still pretty good. And finally, the last box set and the last thing we're looking at from this half year bundle is World Noir Volume 1. Again, only just recently reviewed this, but again, a fantastic box set. It's probably second favourite, I think, to be honest. Even though you could arguably say the third film in this doesn't really have much in the way of film noir elements to it, it's still a great film. And yeah, two of these films I gave 4.5, 4 out of 5, and one I gave 4.5 out of 5, which is still a really rather consistent hit rate as far as I'm concerned. So, like I said, I've already reviewed this, so I'm not going to entirely show everything off. You can go look at my main review, which has only just recently come out. You have three films from three different countries, three different languages, and three different directors. So, I'm Waiting from Japan, Witness in the City from France, and The Facts of Murder from Italy. So, yeah, Witness in the City was my favourite of the three. So yeah, but nonetheless, a fantastic year there. Great amount of films that I really enjoyed. Only really the one that I had a bit of a downer on, and that was Red Son. But as you will have heard, it picked up quite quickly in terms of the quality and in terms of how much I enjoyed the films overall. So yeah, I'm not going to bother with another bundle next year from Radiance Films. It was a big risk at the end of the day, and I think I got off quite lucky that yeah, that I didn't really hate any films at all. But it is, at the end of the day, a massive gamble. Spend that amount of money on films you don't know what you're getting, and you don't even know if you're going to enjoy them. Like I said, I only one of these films I've actually seen before. So out of all of those, that isn't, very many, to be honest. And it's certainly not something I'd recommend personally doing if you're, a little bit to and fro in terms of your film tastes. But I mainly did the half year bundle purely because I wanted to expand the kind of films that I've seen and enjoy. And yeah, it's certainly done that. And never in my life figured I'd be watching, Polish sci-fi post-apocalypse films alongside criticisms of capitalism via Japan, or uh, what we got, exploitation kind of looking horror films from Italy, but not quite exploitation heavy. To then leading stars like Christopher Lee and Vincent Price and Peter Cushing in Scream and Scream Again. So yeah, a really rather nice varied amount of films, but a great series of films overall as regardless. And some of these are still on sale as well. Cosa Nostra is on sale, which knocks off a fair decent amount off of it. And there's a few of the single disc releases as well that are also on sale as well, that are still limited edition, by the way. But they also have the standard editions that are also on sale on top of that if you're not too bothered about the booklet and whatnot. So yeah, hopefully Radiance Films will keep knocking it out of the park in next year. I am personally going to focus on films that I know I'm going to be interested in. So that means looking at the plot synopsis, cast and director and what they've done before, and then prioritizing the films I'm going to buy via that way, and then I'll rent the rest. And if I enjoy them via rental, then or enjoy them enough via rental, then I will buy them after the fact. So yeah, I won't be reviewing quite as much of Radiance Films releases next year, but still, I am going to be reviewing some of them. And yeah, hopefully we get a World Noir Volume 2 box set next year, because it would be nice to have a second one. And given they've called it Volume 1, that does insinuate that there is going to be a Volume 2. So, ooh, so hopefully there will be a second one, and hopefully it will be as good as that one, if not better. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you've gotten into this Radiance Films half year bundle thing, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And a happy new year as well. Bye.